Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar proposing a resolution supporting the right to boycott Israel.
This week, I introduced a resolution with civil rights leader, our colleague, John Lewis, and Rashida Tlaib, who know the importance of nonviolence movements. It recognizes the proud history of boycott movements in this country dating back to the Boston Tea Party. We should honor these movements and that history.
All right, well, the resolution likening the boycott of the Jewish state to boycotts of, get this, Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union. Here to weigh in is Eugene Kontorovich from Mason University and the Kohelet Policy Forum. Sorry, George Mason University, my apologies. Professor, thank you very much for being here.
Good to be here, Pete.
So when you see Ilhan Omar proposing what's called a BDS, which is boycott, divest, and sanction of Israel, and liken it to boycotting Nazi Germany, you say what?
It's amazing. She's not only comparing Israel to Nazi Germany, which is absurd, she's using it to promote policies to actually discriminate against Jews. And that's what a boycott of Israel is. It's not just a boycott of the Israeli government. She's talking about justifying and legitimizing the right to discriminate against Jews because of their relationship to Israel.
Absolutely. Well, this is something Democrats previously have been against. Here's Leader Schumer and Speaker Pelosi slamming the BDS movement the last couple of years. Watch.
When the world treats everybody one way and the Jew or the Jewish state another way, there's only one word for it: anti-Semitism. Let us call out the BDS movement for what it is.
We must also be vigilant against bigoted or dangerous ideologies masquerading as policy, and that includes BDS.
So why won't Speaker Pelosi call Ilhan Omar into her office and say, this is anti-Semitic?
Yeah, the Democrats are faced with a tough choice now. The Democratic Party has acknowledged that boycotts of Israel are anti-Semitic, as have the legislatures of 27 states in overwhelmingly bipartisan votes. But now they're torn between their fear and desire to cater to their far-left progressive wing and what they really believe in. And I think we're really at a fork in the road here where they're going to have to make hard choices.
So is this a resolution that will just die on the vine? It's something Ilhan Omar believes in and a few others? Or is this an indication that the modern Democrat Party, captured by leftists, is embracing anti-Semitism?
This resolution is probably not going to get a vote, but it's still going to probably shift the direction of the party. The House was probably going to vote on a resolution condemning boycotts of Israel, and I think part of the agenda here is to make a deal where they let that one die and they let this one die, and so they're just not going to say anything about anti-Semitism.
So the House was going to vote to condemn the BDS movement and anti-Semitism. Instead, this gets proposed and they do nothing? So have we lost a bipartisan consensus of the support of Israel?
I think we saw that already when, in response to Ilhan Omar's extraordinary anti-Semitic comments about the Jews brainwashing America and about dual loyalties of politicians who support Israel, instead of passing a resolution, they were going to pass a resolution to condemn anti-Semitism in the House, and they couldn't. They had to make it a resolution to condemn everything bad.
It's amazing. And by the way, Ilhan Omar, when she was running, said she did not support BDS on the campaign. Now she goes into Congress and shows her true colors.
She's very strategic, and I think part of her strategy is to pull the Democratic Party hard into the Jeremy Corbyn direction of anti-Semitism. The Labour Party was a normal party like the Democratic Party 10 years ago, and it has completely transformed. What we're seeing here is not just a slippery slope towards Corbynization. We're kind of halfway down that slope already. We're at the bottom, maybe.
We're closer to the bottom than we'd like to admit. Professor Kontorovich, thank you very much for your time. We
My
appreciate
pleasure.
it. It's George Mason University.
That's right.
I will not get that wrong again.
Thank you, Pete.